to the Wetland Web of Life. All right. So, are you guys glad to be here? Would you rather be back in the classroom?
Yeah.
You would rather be back in the classroom. Would you like to?
I love math.
Oh, math. We're not going to do any math.
We're not going to do it now. Sorry.
Animals, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do animals. Awesome. All right. My name is Kurt, and this is Corinne, and we are representing the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. Is that a long title? It's a federal agency. Is that a big word? Federal? Where it's everywhere. It's every state. That's why it's federal, right? You guys know that federal means like nationwide, like United States, federal, internal. Anyway, we are here with the Fish and Wildlife Service to talk about the Wetland Web of Life and to make a little web of life. We'll have a little activity to do later to make our web. Hopefully we do have an intact ball of yarn. So this is good. This is good. So welcome, and I want to tell you a little bit about our agency before we do our little activity. Our agency, like I said, is the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, and one of the things that the Fish and Wildlife Service does is manage our national wildlife refuges. Now I have on this little chart, over there, on this little chart a little list of things that we're going to try to talk about today, and maybe words that you guys haven't always heard. But you can save your questions just for a second. Thank you. Very good. So national wildlife refuges are in all 50 states. And this map, you guys recognize this?
Yeah. That's our country.
That's our country. That's the United States. You see all, you probably can't tell on the back, but these are all little blue geese on here. And the blue goose is the symbol for the National Wildlife Refuge System. We have over 500 national wildlife refuges across the whole nation. And there's one in every single state. One in every single state. So that's pretty cool. And you'll notice that they're kind of located almost in kind of lines here. Just lines that go north and south. And they're kind of located along flyways. Have you guys ever heard of a flyway?
No.
Seriously.
Yeah.
A flyway is like a highway in the sky. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's a flyway is what birds follow when they do this thing called migration. You guys know what migration is? Yeah, well, not really, but sort of. So they follow, and they don't actually get on a road map, do they? And follow a map. Do birds do that?
Did I use this one?
They don't. And do they use this map? Come on, guys. Birds don't carry maps with them. No. I'm trying to be funny, but it's not working. Okay, so birds, just generally speaking, follow these certain flyways. There's a Central Flyway, there's a Mississippi Flyway, there's an Atlantic. Is this the Atlantic Ocean? Thank you. What's this ocean over here? Pacific. So there's a Pacific Flyway. They kind of follow these flyways. And so we've established these national wildlife refuges along these flyways to provide places for birds to rest and to eat and to get all energized up to fly some more. So they can't just fly from here to there without stopping. That's a long way. You guys have to stop when you go on trips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, birds have to stop too. Gas station. That's very good. National wildlife refuges could be just like a gas station. They stop and they eat and they rest in a motel. It's a resort, really. It's like a resort. So that's why we have these along these flyways for birds. It's a resort for birds. Thank you. So in addition, you'll see a whole bunch of national wildlife refuges in this state right here. Do you guys recognize this state? North Dakota. Thank you. Yeah. And that's South Dakota, right? And that's Minnesota. There's a whole bunch of refuges up here in this region. We call this region the Prairie Pothole region. You guys know what potholes are? Not like a gopher. Potholes are like wetlands. Does that make sense? Like a slough or a marsh or a swamp or a pothole. They're all wetlands. So there's a whole bunch of wetlands in this part of the country. And we have all these refuges there to protect those wetlands and to provide habitat. You guys know what habitat is, right?
Yeah.
Provide habitat for birds. That's why they're here. And what do they do here in the summertime? Do they do certain things when they grow babies and stuff? You guys know what that's all about? They have to breed, and then they lay eggs, and then the eggs hatch, and they do all that stuff up here. And then when it comes to the fall, they all migrate south. So that's why you see a whole bunch of national wildlife refuges in North Dakota. Yes. Okay. So that's our National Wildlife Refuge System. That's a little bit about what the Fish and Wildlife Service does in the nation. Yes, ma'am.
When I was at my grandma's, I saw this bird. It was laying an egg, and then it left.
Yeah.
It just left its nest and it never came back.
Well, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they leave their nest, but most of the time they come back. You know, maybe it got killed. Who knows? And what? That's a very good segue. What kind of animal would kill another animal? Which one would that be? You know which one it is? Which one of these carnivores eat meat, right? Well, omnivores too. Every year. Omnivores eat what? Both plants and animals. That's right, meat. What about a scavenger? What does a scavenger eat? Who knows what a scavenger eats? Anybody tell me? Scavenger? Other things. Are they live things or dead things? Dead things. Scavengers. Vultures eat dead things. Vultures are scavengers. Very good. And you guys know what a herbivore is?
Yeah, it's a
Plant eater. Exactly. So we'll try to use some of these words when we do our little activity. Very good plant. Yes. When we do our little activity called the Web of Life, this is going to be our web. And we're going to make a web of life with all these little creatures right here. You guys all get to be something. An organism.
I want
You get to be something in the web of life. So what we'll do, if you guys are ready, we'll take all our stuff and set it over there against that wall, and then come back here and we'll hand out your nameplates, and you get to be something different. Unless you want to be a human, I think we do have a human nameplate as well. You don't want to be human?
No, I don't want to be.
You're never
I
human.
want to be something
You
hard.
haven't been human all day. All right, who wants to be a shorebird?
Perfect, it's right on top.
That's good. How about a northern pike?
Mallard, wants to be
How about a
Mallard.
mink with sharp teeth?
Mallard, excellent.
How about a tundra
Tree,
swan?
the tree is very important. You gotta have a tree.
How about a willow tree?
Never mind.
Heron.
This bird.
You know what
Wait, a willow
heron
tree.
is?
Come on. Who wants to be
Really?
a
It's
willow
a
tree?
tall.
Well, she doesn't say that. How about a paladin? Nobody wants to be a paladin?
Northern. Mallory the Mallard, huh?
What do you
That's a plant, dragonfly tool. You guys have to pick something.
Oh, you can only be one. A tree.
Okay, good.
Did someone already get the
No.
printed tool?
You know, like they make that out of. Make that out of.
What do you want to be, a frog? A friendly viper, a sunfish?
No, you're
It's
just
like
kidding.
Tyson or
yeah, very soft.
our muscus carnivores.
Like, what do you got? Chocolate here? All right.
What are you gonna pick? You gotta pick. You gotta have time to do it.
Gotta be viper. No, we're good. I like you.
It's a very fast.
All right. Let's make a circle, because we have to make a circle to make the web of life. So make a circle around me. I'll be the center. Okay, let's make a circle. I'm the center. Okay, there we go. Okay, join the circle. Very good. Okay, to start our web of life, we need something that everything else needs. Is there something in this circle that everything else needs. What? Water is very good. Yes, that is true. But there's something even more important than water. The sun. What would we do without the sun?
Nothing.
You're correct. We wouldn't even live. We wouldn't be here, right? We would just be, I don't know. We can live without the moon, but not without the sun. So we start with the sun. The sun starts the web of life. Now, I've already answered this question, but what needs the sun? Everything needs the sun, right? But we have to choose something. Now maybe not water.
This needs water.
Without
the
We have
sun.
the sun.
Braden's water.
All right, so we have the sun. We have to start somewhere. Let's connect something to the sun. How about a kingfisher? You guys know what a kingfisher is? A kingfisher is a bird. Is that obvious?
Yeah.
It's a bird. Kingfisher eats fish. Thank you. So, a kingfisher perches typically on a tree or something. It sits there and waits for a little fish to come by, and then just boom. I think that's a good one. So the kingfisher could be connected to the cottonwood tree, right? Because he might perch on the cottonwood tree when he's fishing. The kingfisher is now connected to the cottonwood tree, which is also the sun. We have to hold our stand a little tighter. Okay, guys? You can set that. Now, we have a cottonwood tree.
Well, Mickey's. Oh, yeah. I just look at it.
You can sleep in it. That's very good.
Oh, the raccoon.
You can definitely sleep
I
in
wanted
it.
water.
I think that's probably the
She
best.
could live in it.
Here's the thing.
She could
You
live
can find
in
it,
it.
but they don't really plant trees on it. This
She
is
could live in
something.
it.
Here's the
Oh, she's
if
a
the
duck.
cottonwood tree died, it fell in the water and it was kind of sitting above the water. Have you guys ever seen a turtle just kind of sunning itself on a log? That could be a log from the cottonwood tree. So the turtle likes the cottonwood tree for that reason.
It's a star.
It's a star, it is. Okay, so now we have a turtle. Now a turtle has to start out its life. Yeah, it could be. A turtle has to start out its life pretty small, right? Well, water for sure. We're going to incorporate water without pressure. Now the turtle starts out its life pretty small, isn't it? Well, a lot of things that could eat a turtle and stuff.
Great blue
You
parrot.
could eat it. How about a raccoon?
Yeah.
Raccoon could eat a turtle. Now we have the raccoon. What does the raccoon do?
He attacks and likes. He eats
Likes
ducks.
to eat-
He
He
eats fish.
definitely can eat
He
ducks.
eats fish.
He definitely can eat ducks. He definitely can eat red-winged blackbirds. He can eat a lot of things. He definitely can eat a shorebird. Yeah. Sorry, you just had to try a raccoon. Sorry about that. All right, so raccoon ate the shorebird, that beautiful little shorebird. Now, the shorebird. How could the shorebird be connected to anything else? Water for sure. I love water.
Needs water.
Okay, everything needs water. Let's go with water. Okay, the shorebird has to have water for it to feed. It eats things out of the water. Sometimes it probes like that one, sticking its beak in the mud. You love me? Probe down in the mud and they find something tasty and then they just eat it. Okay, you definitely live in it. You definitely live in it. You know what else lives in the water? In part of its life, did you guys know that mosquitoes spend part of their life cycle in the water? Yeah. You knew this?
Because they swim around on the top.
They swim, but they're not born with wings. They swim underwater, actually, but they do swim on the top, so you're right. So a mosquito lives in the water for part of its life. Now,
Northerns eat mosquitoes.
what about mosquitoes?
Northerns eat mosquitoes.
They might.
Ducks eat mosquitoes.
Ducks eat definitely mosquitoes. When the mosquito is in its stage where it's living in the water, where it's a baby mosquito, definitely ducks love. Those are tasty morsels. Okay, now we have a duck. We have a mallard in particular. And this mallard, are you in the shorebird? Shorebird's in, yeah. This mallard is living in in the water, and it's nesting in the grass, and sometimes when it builds its nest,
A mink?
a mink might come along and eat its eggs. It's really bad. They lay all those eggs and you ate them. You're still part of the web of life. All right. You're not dead. Okay, so the mink
Yeah, I died.
ate
I'm the
the
one.
mallard eggs,
I died braid. Wait, no.
but
I died.
also the mink.
I died in jail.
Oh yeah. You know what minks also? A mink will definitely eat a muskrat. That poor muskrat wasn't paying attention. That mink came up behind him. Very sharp teeth. It's over. Done.
Northern can eat the Northern. Northern person. Wide mouth.
All right. Now the muskrat. We don't have cattails, do we?
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay. But the no. You know what the muskrat does? Have you guys ever seen this thing where a muskrat builds this big mound of cattails? You've seen this? Muskrat hut, we call it sometimes, and it lives in there. Well, muskrat builds that, but you know what else might use that muskrat hut? How about a tundra swan? Because a swan might nest on top. Have you ever seen this? Where a bird, you don't have to. Where a bird will nest on top of a muskrat hut. So thank you, muskrat, for building that hut for the tundra swan to nest on. Now, tundra swans. This is bad. Sometimes tundra swans, well, of course not sometimes, when they have their babies and they're swimming across the little pond or whatever, and there's a northern pike living in there. The northern pike is hungry. He looks up and here's this little baby swan swimming as fast as it can. Do you think that looks like something good to eat?
Yeah.
We just ate a swan here. Sick. Yes.
Now the straight blue heron and the red and black.
Now, the northern pike. What do we got over here? A blackbird?
Red ring and black.
Oh! Sometimes when the northern pike are very small and they're swimming along, and this great blue heron, do you guys know what a great blue heron is?
Yeah, I have a bird book.
Yes. Great blue heron is a bird, stands about this tall,
It's huge.
and it has
Mine-
a great big, don't pull too hard guys, it has a great big beak on it, looks like a spear. And it just like, and they have a long neck, and he sits there really quietly, he doesn't move, and then that northern pike swims by, not a real big northern pike, but a smaller northern pike swims by, and that great blue heron goes snap, and it's over. So sorry, northern pike, you got eaten by a great blue heron. Okay, so now we have a great blue heron. Are you interested in salamander? You know what else great blue herons like to eat? Well, of course they do. They love to eat salmon. The poor salmon. Well, they don't eat salamander so much. But the great blue heron, well, who's left? The red-winged blackbird is still part of the web of life. In fact, let's see, let me think how the salamander is coming. Oh, well, trying to research. Maybe it would have to take a really big giant salamander, but I suppose it could happen. You're still part of the web of life. I'm sorry, you may have gotten eaten by a salamander. Thank you. So,
It's not part of the life.
or by you for sure. So now we're all connected, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm not part of the web. I'm just the web.
You're a maker. You're the one maker.
I'm the web maker.
You're the spider.
I'm the spider. I'm like Charlotte, I guess. And
Oh wait,
So-
red-winged blackbird eats spiders.
yes, for sure. Spider.
So they're connected.
All right, so you can stay connected. Now, all right, so let's say this is our web of life. Something bad happened, and somebody spilled some really bad chemical or oil, thank you, into the water, and the water got contaminated. Wouldn't that be horrible?
Then we have to let go, and then we're not.
Then, who's all connected to the water?
Me. Who
just dropped it?
Everybody.
Everybody's connected to the water. So you're not connected to the water as a kingfisher? Everybody is connected to the water.
Because Oh, everybody was going all the way.
Exactly.
I saw them in
But let's say something else. Is there a mosquito? I forget the mosquito. Let's say mosquito, let's say they decided to kill all the mosquitoes because they just bothered people, right? So let's take the mosquito out of the web. Can you disconnect yourself? Ooh, the web's starting to fall apart. So if the mosquito's gone, what did we have connected to the mosquito? We had something eating mosquitoes. Water for sure.
Mallard.
Mallard, 5. Okay, the mallard's down. What was eating the mallard? It made 5. The web is falling apart. Can you guys see it?
I'm part of the meat.
You're part of the meat? Yeah, you're dead. You're gone. And then what was connected to the muskrat? You guys see what I'm trying to do here? Because the web is all connected. It was who? They're gone because the muskrat. I don't know how you think the muskrat. But anyway, so everything is connected. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Okay. You guys can all drop your yarn now. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We have to disconnect from the web. So the web is all connected, and everything is part of the web. And it's very, very important that we keep the web connected. If we lose something from the web, it affects everything else. Right, guys? Right? Right. Okay, so now we need to journal. We need to take, you guys have like, what, just a few minutes, I think, to go get your journals.
I already posted it.
And write, good for you, you're ahead of the game. You can write things down. Are you all connected